Why? Because what I'm going to share today is probably the greatest attribute that I've embraced to change my life. I'm an intense person. It exudes from me. People that know me well, have been around me for years, know that's the case. I was recently at an event with a friend, part of our impact driven leader roundtable, and I was sitting at dinner with himself and a couple of coworkers. And we got on this conversation about intensity. And he asked us, like, to the other two guys, like, do you think he's intense? And they kind of like, no. And I stopped and I said, man, thank you. Thank you that you recognize that. Thank you that my intensity can be channeled in ways that's not offensive. See, intensity can be offensive. We've talked about that the last few days. Today, we're talking about a little bit more. But as the tactics or tools that we use to make our intensity meaningful, to me, it's practicing healthy empathy. I believe empathy is the great solution to insecurity. And I believe intensity is a form of insecurity. Our insecurity is displayed through our intensity because we're going to make it happen, even at the expense of others. See, if it's not that, it's passion. And passion invites and brings people together and it psychs people. When you look at the definition of passion, it's actually quite dire. It's reference to Jesus of Nazareth and his enduring of tremendous suffering. That's literally the definition of passion when you look it up. And see, being compassionate for others, being empathetic, sharing in that with them, walking with them, that's what we need to do. I'm going to share today's thought of the day. It's this: being empathetic to others means walking with them rather than pushing or pulling them. There's a person of faith, right? Just take the context of the story. There's a passage that talks about being unequally yoked. If you know anything about horses or oxen, in the case that the original reference was, whenever they're hitched together, there's a hitch that binds two or more together, and they are trained to walk together, to pull together at an even pace. If not, what happens, especially if it's a wooden yoke, is one goes fast than the other and it twists and it can choke both of them. And so that can happen either way. And so as the great teaching goes, don't be unequally yoked. And to me, that is being empathetic. 'Cause I can't push, I can't pull you. I put my arm around you and I walk with you. See, if we push or pull people because of our intensity, we're unequally yoked. All of a sudden, one of us is going to get hurt. It's usually not the stronger of the two. The stronger may hurt themselves and others in the process, but it's usually the weaker. That's not saying it's bad. It's just the straight function of strength. See, my definition of empathy is putting your arm around someone and walking with them. And that's what I believe empathy is. I was talking to a friend yesterday, recording a podcast that'll be coming up, and he shared about a traumatic experience that happened to him and his wife. And as they were sharing it with his daughter, she just fell down and started weeping. And as a father that was trying to console his daughter, he could have done a lot of things. He got down on his knees and he put his arm around her and just wept with her. That's empathy. There's no solution. There's no fixing. There's no turning and walking away. It's just putting your arm around someone. Say, let's get through this together. We can make the most of our intensity when we practice empathy. Put your arm around someone and just walk with them. Hope you got value from this today. Thanks for being here. Can't wait for you to catch the full podcast. It releases tomorrow on YouTube if you're watching there, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll catch you tomorrow. Share